What's up guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Quick Flicks. Today, we are covering Escape Room, directed by Adam Robitel, releasing in 2019. Robitel is mainly known for his work directing Insidious: The Last Key and The Taking of Deborah Logan. He was also a co-writer for Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension, directed by Gregory Plotkin, who, if you remember, directed 2018's Hellfest. Escape Room follows 6 strangers who sign up for the Minos Escape Room for a chance to win $10,000. However, these escape rooms become life or death quite quickly, due to the deadly consequences of failing a puzzle. This movie is a ton of fun, and the set design is fantastic, so let's stop wasting time and get into the movie. The movie opens up with a nice, cozy, fancy room. Well, that's not supposed to happen. The guy frantically runs to a puzzle on the wall, trying to figure out a 4-digit code to solve this thing. He notices the wall starts closing in on him, pushing him to hurry up. He finds a clue, telling him to follow the light. Looking around, he notices a light coming from the bookshelf. He pulls it off and reads another clue, leading him to a picture of some people pointing in different directions in correlation to a clock. This info gives him the 4-digit order for the puzzle. However, when he puts it in, the wall doesn't seem to stop moving, nor does an escape route seem to open. Unfortunately for him, the walls close in before he can escape. We jump to 3 days earlier, where we are introduced to 3 of our main protagonists, starting with college student Zoe. She's quite smart, although timid. Next up is biker, doucher, stockbroker Jason. You know, just a typical arrogant dude. And lastly, we meet Ben, a grocery store clerk, struggling to make a living. He seems to be a bit depressed, using alcohol as a solution. Later into the day, they all receive a package containing a nice little note and a cube, although it seems unopenable. After some YouTube tutorials and a few hours of trying to crack this thing, it eventually opens at once for all of them. They all pull out a card containing the same message about a $10,000 winning prize to the winner of the Minos Escape Room. The next day, Ben shows up to the Minos building, meeting another participant, Amanda. While he smokes a cig, Amanda heads on in, giving up her cell phone and meeting another participant, Danny, who's supposedly an escape room guru. Having gone through numerous in the past like it's his full-time job, they head to the waiting area of the escape room, meeting Zoe, Jason, and another participant, Mike. Mike's a cool guy.
I had a family dog growing up named Amanda. She was a cute little husky collie. 2 different colored eyes, actually. It was very unique.
Ben comes on in and introduces himself, but after listening to the escape room guru Danny, he gets impatient and goes to take a cig break, but pulls off the door handle instead, revealing an oven dial. This kicks off our first puzzle. The group starts looking for clues, but seem to also be finding things that trigger some PTSD. Mike finds a book with a screwdriver in it. When Zoe realizes it's titled Fahrenheit 451, she goes to turn the dial to 451 degrees, but that just ramps up the heat in the room. This seems to bother Amanda quite a bit, who asks the receptionist for help, but gets a pre-recorded robotic sounding response. Zoe finds a key on a fire extinguisher, which the group uses to open the receptionist's glass window, revealing a creepy looking mannequin. Things start heating up, and the window starts shutting, paranoiding Amanda quite a bit. She grabs a glass of water when Zoe notices scars all over her back and neck. While the group is searching for a way out of this easy bake oven, Zoe finds a coaster. She pushes it down, partially opening up an exit point through an air vent. Ben, Danny, and Mike help press down the other coasters, which open it completely. Jason suggests that he go first, but runs into a locked vent. Amanda takes over for Mike, so he can use the screwdriver to unscrew it. They confirm it's the correct exit, and Amanda is the first to leave the table. But this entire situation triggers some major PTSD of when Amanda was in war and her team was ambushed, killing some of them. Zoe goes to help when Ben and Danny start filling glasses of water to put on the coasters. However, they realize they're all out of water, due to Amanda being a bit parched earlier. Luckily for them though, Ben's alcohol addiction comes in handy. As he brought a flask, he fills up the last glass, and they skedaddle on out of there, just in the nick of time, as the entire room is engulfed in flames. Fun fact, the original opening of this film was actually going to be a foreign soccer team in the first room, but unfortunately failed the puzzle and died. However, the crew felt as if this would have been too big of a spoiler for the big surprise of the first room when our main crew arrived. The crew realizes this escape room is for real and are quite upset, except for Danny, who still thinks this is just the experience.
Talk about immersive.
Amanda wants to quit, waving to the cameras and even using Danny's backup phone, but with no service, they're forced to continue on. The group find themselves in a cabin with a 7-letter combination lock on the front door. A quote and 8 pairs of antlers on the wall trigger a flashback to Ben's past, when he was drunkenly singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with his friends before crashing the vehicle, resulting in all of them dying. He realizes Rudolph is the only one missing on the wall and suggests they attempt putting it in the lock, which actually works successfully. They step outside the cabin into an extremely cold snowy forest. The door shuts behind them, forcing them to stay outside. While Danny walks out, he runs into a wall, which triggers some air vents to open up, making this room even frostier. While Jason explores and finds a locked door, Amanda opens up a crate to find a jacket and suggests that the crew rotate turns using it. Feeling adventurous, Mike climbs a tree to find a fishing rod, and Zoe finds a magnet in a bear's mouth. Ben, on the other hand, is just trying to stay warm by lighting up, but is unsuccessful, falling through the ice. He pulls himself out, but the group takes advantage of this, using the fishing rod with a magnet attached to pull out an ice block with a key inside. They try breaking it open, but to no avail. They then request Ben's lighter, and being a douche, just tosses it on the ice. Danny goes to retrieve it when he falls through. A current pushes him further from the original hole, and he eventually dies. In a situation like this, do you die from drowning or freezing first? I actually don't know. If you know, let me know down below. The group gets mad at Ben for the way he threw his lighter, but quickly let it go to figure this puzzle out and survive. Jason demands everyone use their body heat to melt the ice block, as it's the only way. For the next few hours, they huddle together, keeping their hands on it until it finally melts enough, releasing the key. Jason runs to the front door, putting in the key, unlocking a door on the other side. They scramble to get out of there as the ice starts exploding, Ben barely making it in time. They make their way into the next escape room, which is an upside-down bar. Aesthetically, it's the coolest one to me. While looking for clues, a phone buzzes, and a piece of the floor falls down a long elevator shaft. Everyone decides to hang on to the wall. Amanda ninjas her way to a safe that needs a 4-digit code. Zoe notices a giant sliding puzzle on the wall and heads over to solve it. The group eventually comes to the conclusion that this puzzle is associated with the pool balls on the table. The puzzle gives them the numbers 9810, but to no avail. This causes 2 floors to fall off, leaving just 2 sections. The shelf Mike, Ben, and Zoe are hanging onto leans over, and with too much weight, someone has to get off. Zoe tries reaching for a pool cue to hold onto, but falls off, knocking her out, and flashing back to a plane crash she went through that killed everyone, including her parents. She comes to and gets helped up. She immediately realizes that the room is upside down, so the code should be too. Amanda flips the code around, opening the safe. She gets a pool ball key thing, and gets ready to head over to the exit with the others, but finds herself in a pickle. She jumps to the pool table and climbs around like a BA, but drops the ball. She goes to pick it up as the phone buzzes and the floor falls, but she throws the ball to Jason and grabs onto the phone just in time. However, she doesn't have the agility left to hang on and falls to her presumed death. The group moves on to the next room, labeled Triage, due to its hospital theme. They recognize all of their hospital rooms from their accidents that landed them in the hospital. They all share their experiences with each other, where we learn Jason and his roommate were in a boating accident, and his friend froze to death in an attempt to swim to safety. Mike worked in a mine in West Virginia when it collapsed, and killed his brother Cal, along with 9 other co-workers. Zoe explains the plane crash that she went through, and Ben about his car accident. They read Danny's paperwork, learning his entire family died from carbon monoxide poisoning, except him. They come to the conclusion they were all picked for this escape room because they were all sole survivors, and Minos wants to see who the luckiest out of the lucky are. They realize every room was tailored to their experiences, and after reading Danny's paperwork, they know what they're about to endure. With a clock counting down from 5 minutes and tanks of poison gas, the group starts searching for clues, while Zoe starts destroying the cameras to prevent Minos from watching them. The others gather x-rays of a sign language clue that reads EKG, grabbing one and hooking it up to Ben, hoping his heart rate is sufficient enough to open the door. His heart rate seems to be too low though, so they try Mike, but they run into the same issue. Jason, in a panic, grabs a defibrillator and shocks him with it, skyrocketing his heart rate. However, this doesn't open the door, but unfortunately kills Mike. Gosh, Jason is a douche. A clue on the TV suggests that they need a low heart rate rather than a high one, and Jason hooks himself up and meditates, which seems to be enough, and opens the exit door. Jason and Ben escape, but Zoe stays behind, still breaking stuff and presumably dying to the gas. In the trippy next room, Ben gets mad at Jason for, killing Mike for no reason, and comes to the conclusion that Jason actually killed his friend, rather than the story he made up. Jason asserts his dominance though, and gets Ben to help him open a valve manhole thing in the ground. They get it open, but whoa, man. The valve was covered in a hallucinogenic drug. They read a message aloud that says, "Feel free to leave, but may we note, it's best to find the antidote." This scene is actually really cool, and a ton of fun, but could you imagine how horrifying this would be in real life? While tripping testes, Ben finds the antidote. However, Jason sneak attacks that fool, and they battle, while some nice peaceful country rock plays. Ben pushes Jason into a cornered wall, hitting his head just right, and killing him. Ben immediately injects himself, and has a nice cooldown from the hardcore drugs. He breaks his way into the manhole, and falls right into the beginning of this movie. However, we get the conclusion of the room this time around, and Ben miraculously makes it out alive via a fireplace. Back at the triage room, Zoe, who was supposedly dead, but JKs these fools, and awakes as two Minos employees walk on into the room. She beats them down, and takes their gun. Ben heads on into a large warehouse with a lot of equipment and screens of the contestants around. He meets the game master, who informs him the entire escape room is set up for entertainment purposes, similar to that of gladiator games and public executions. They do this for some of the most powerful leaders of the world, and they always demand more and more complicated and fun rooms for better entertainment. This escape room theme was indeed Soul Survivors, like the group guessed earlier on. Ben, of course, asks if he's free to leave now, but the game master says nah, and strangles him from behind. Ben pulls out a shard of glass from his leg, and stabs the game master with it, bringing him down. Suddenly, the screen of contestants updates, adding him to it, and showing that Zoe is still alive. She comes from around the corner and shoots him, where we get one of the most normal, natural sounding yells. He tackles Zoe to the ground, but Ben smacks that fool with a glass bottle, then grabbing the gun and shooting him a couple times, eliminating him from the game. They leave the building and take Ben to the hospital. In the meantime, Zoe tells the police about the Minos escape rooms, taking them to the building to investigate. However, it seems Minos got to flip out of there quite quickly. The police assume she's just crazy and head on out. 6 months later, Ben and Zoe are chilling together when they review the public info on the deaths of the others from the escape room. The deaths are listed as Mike dying from a heart attack in a bathroom, Jason died from a bike crash with DMT found in his system, Danny drowned in Lake Michigan, and Amanda dying from a rock climbing incident. Ben suggests that they just let it go, as they are lucky to have even lived through the situation. But Zoe has other plans, wanting to take them down. She shows him the deconstructed Minos logo, which gives coordinates for an unlisted industrial building in Manhattan. She tells Ben that she already bought plane tickets, so Ben agrees to go. We cut to a plane in the air with an engine on fire. The flight attendants are searching for clues to solve this thing, but unfortunately for them, they crash into a mountain. The movie ends with us finding out that this is just a prototype of a new escape room for Zoe and Ben when they get on that plane in 2 weeks. It only has a 4% chance of survival. We then see a mystery man talking about the data of the escape room, and the screen fades to black. Let me know what you guys thought of Escape Room. Which room did you think was the coolest? You think you would have survived this ish? Let me know down below. Next week, we'll be covering the sequel, Escape Room Tournament of Champions, which is another super fun movie. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.